Run for your life!
Or not, or maybe not. Let's see, there's one thing I need to check up, and that's from the outsider. No, everything is good. We're perfectly reasonable, everything is fine. Last time, to give us a little bit of a recap, you faced off against the Sandman and a Mechazilla of Doom.
Indeed. Grumpy Sandman.
Yes, a grumpy
Always
old man
Doom.
who wanted his wash machine fixed.
Which is actually a microwave.
Yes, and a true hero would of course do so.
Yes.
Then, at the end, you were, getting to go into your dorm rooms and figure those out.
Yeah.
Just a quick question. If you could, what would you put in your dorm rooms in terms of, personalizing your
Mirror.
space? Alright. Lily would put a mirror in.
Well, mirror hair products, alien hair doodads.
Doodads. I love that word.
Yes.
Princess Leia buns.
Who knows?
I'm not sure what Hales would put in his room, since he kind of haven't really had a room of his own.
Just imagine a makeup table. Just yeah.
Huh. Hey Jos, you've got a comfortable bed for the first time ever. How do you sleep in a bed with your, your scales and your spikes in there?
He kind of like pokes it a bit, like, what? This is
The bed is soft and
weird.
bouncy indeed.
I think he'd probably sleep on the floor like he's used to.
Too much comfort.
That is beautiful.
For him, yeah.
Keith and Jack. I was about to, yeah. Keith and Jack. Thankfully, you're in the same room, so I can't, if I address both of you, I won't mistake you. Indeed.
Exactly.
Believe me, it was one of the criteria why we chose to room together. Just so that you would actually fucking know our names for once.
I'm sure. You
Secret
shall know our
agendas.
names.
Well,
Oh shit, I actually built those.
he
Okay.
would have a picture of his family in there.
Alright, nice.
Who needs a picture when you just have a holo communicator or whatever you call it?
And
Lily did have to call her sister to cry.
And
So-
of course, he would also have, a poster of some hot ladies in very little clothes.
Obviously.
Obviously, would he have that too?
He seems the kind of guy.
Jack's side of the room would be totally different. He's one of those that he wants everything almost military precision. He's somewhat like... It totally contradicts his carefree nature that his side of the room is basically like alphabetized books, encyclopedias, a high-end laptop, one photo of a family where he's really small, that kind of stuff.
Okay. You both see each other's family. Because you're looking over each other's stuff, I'm presuming. Any comments you have about that? Any interesting things you want to ask or share?
The family photo is clearly very old because Jack looks quite small in it, and it's one of the few that actually features his mother. And there are no other pictures at all.
Okay.
Keith's family photo is also quite old. He also seems a bit younger in it. There are 5 persons in it. Some boy who's clearly younger than Keith, and then a girl who's clearly older than Keith, and then his mother and father.
Alright. Freya, how do you contribute to the homeliness of your room?
She doesn't. She lets Lily decorate it.
They just keep fully of random mechanical stuff just everywhere. No, half of which she doesn't even know how to fucking work.
It's like
Random through that.
she dumps a basket of Legos all over the place.
Basically, yes.
I imagine. Lily, just out of curiosity, where do you park your bike?
Where everyone parks the bike, obviously, right outside the window.
Okay, that's an unusual spot. It's standing there right on the green, if you will.
Yes.
Sure.
Where else would he park it?
Okay, that's fair enough.
Oh, that makes sense, right? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if you have no regards for, parking spaces, that's totally up to your character. Just a quick question as all your characters go to sleep at night. Is there anything particular they would dream about or they would ponder about the day that has passed?
Next time, Evan, next time I'm gonna beat you.
Well, it's not uncommon for either Jack nor Lisa to actually have nightmares. They're very quiet, but they're still there.
Okay. Oh, that is actually quite a good thing for you there. Anybody else? How does Freya sleep?
not
Like a normal
sure.
person or more like a dog rolled up?
She sleeps like a normal person, and
Okay.
she's learned to just kind of, when it's time to sleep, you just shut off your brain and sleep.
Oh, I love that.
Indeed.
So Freya also sleeps like a rock. How,
I'm not sure
how
how I feel
easily
about
would
this.
Freya be, stirrable from sleep?
They would have a whistle that she learned to wake up to. So a whistle-like sound usually will wake her up.
Okay, otherwise she just wakes up whenever she's rested, I
Yeah.
guess. Okay. Alright, so Jack, you've been very exhausted, your body is exhausted, but your mind is quite fresh awake, and in your dream, you seem to see a dark creature somewhere. You see city lights in the background twinkling. And then the picture becomes clear, and it becomes clear that this is an actual scene somewhere out in the city.
Oh, wow.
Well,
And this person that we see is completely cased in shadows, except for this white cloak that seems to fray out in many different directions, floating as if there is no wind up here, although we can hear it below and rustle. The city noise below is, honking cars, driving cars, a little bit of all evening city noise. And
Regular city stuff.
yeah, exactly. A tired, weary sounding voice of a woman speaks out. What a beautiful city. And a woman much unlike anything that would be considered human, neither male nor female, raspy, almost from beyond here, says, lights, facade, all. And the person stands up and walks closer to the edge, not like that brazen giant of Halcyon fame with conquering smile astride from ear to ear. Here, at our concrete-washed hero city shall stand a mighty woman with a star. And the person reaches out, and you can see one of the stars above in the night sky. I think all of them twinkle a little bit brighter. Whose flame is imprisoned justice, and her name, Mother of Liberation. From her beacon hand glows a worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged skyline of that twin-faced city. Keep ancient rules, your association pump. She cries with silent lips, the voice narrates. Give me your tired, your poor, your hurtled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming city. Send these, the hero-less, vengeance-seeking to me. I lift my starry sights, that golden goal. Now, Jack, you wake up middle of the night. You think you just had a nightmare, but you can't quite remember the details.
He wakes up in the bed, like, straight shooting up, breathing quite harshly before just, like, pressing the balls of his hands onto his eyes. I was like, fuck. And I just, like, it's very something. Like, he's never like this before. Carefully looking around if you can see anything out of the ordinary.
Your alarm clock says it's about 20 minutes before getting up.
Doesn't seem like it. Like, can I actually unleash my powers and send the wind to if the wind knows anything about this?
Sure. You break some wind.
No. It's more of
Unleash
just
your
like opening the
powers.
window and actually listening what it's saying.
Alright, yeah, do that. Full hit.
Oh wow.
Alright. Let's see what kind of weather we have this morning. I'm just gonna check that out. Because the wind knows.
Well, it's apparently windy.
Well, it can be just a quiet breeze.
The air is everywhere. You cannot escape it.
Yes.
Try me, I can go into space.
That's true, there is no air there.
There is space wind. Such thing exists.
Space winds. Now, where did it go? Alright, there. You can see the dawn on the horizon. It's a baby pink, with slight orange clouds above that are already touched by the sun. It is late summer.
Quite a beautiful morning.
Yeah, and it's relatively warm. And the wind blows around you, and it's so calming. As if there's nothing in the world wrong, and it calms your heartbeat down.
Oh.
If you ask for the wind if there's anything...
She's still taking... Yeah, that's the idea. Like, he actually, of course, he asks the wind, like, was there
Okay, that
something
seems
going
like
on last night?
your assess the situation rule, actually. You unleash your powers and it works. Roll to assess the situation of the wind. Because you want to ask the wind questions.
Yeah, but remember that I can actually ask one extra question, even
Absolutely.
if I miss.
You do miss. You mark potential, but ask me one question anyway.
Let me just check the
As
list.
you're being completely put at ease by this calming breeze. Feels like it's moving right through you.
What year could I use to figure out the dream?
Jack, it might also just have been a dream, not real.
As the wind blows through you and gives you some, general clarity, perhaps if you were to scroll over the city security footage, they have cameras set up in case, crimes happen. Villains can't be watching everywhere. So perhaps if you dedicate a lot of time to that, you could find someone standing on a skyscraper at night. Perhaps. Or you could ask around if rumors have propped up or something like that happen. You should do research, is what your mind tells you. And as you sniff the air, something smells like food. Cooked food.
Clearly it's breakfast time.
You hear your alarm clock, or maybe it's Keith's alarm clock. Maybe both of your alarm clocks ringing in unison behind you.
Keith, just turn around in the bed and just slam his hand down on the clock. And then just turn around again.
Directly engage the threat.
Okay.
Your room is now on fire.
Well, that would not be the first time.
That would be unleashing your powers. Or perhaps it would be unleashing your powers to reshape the environment.
I
Okay,
did.
you can choose one thing from the list.
I take something from it. I take its ability to make noise.
All right. You hit it on the dome, and it shuts up. But you only hit it after the second hit. The first hit slams on the edge of one of the tables and hurts your hand. So you managed to shut it off, but now your hand is pulsing with pain.
Never mind that Jack's alarm clock is still going on until he very calmly kind of just pushes it like click. Before washing up and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, let me move you back over to the dorms. Keith, what happens afterwards? You know, finally the noise is gone, but your hand is hurting. And you realize for the first time, wait, there's someone else with you in the room. Right, you're in the dorms. It's school day.
What? No, it's school day. Ah! Looks at the clock. Whew, I'm not late. Whew, fine, 5 more minutes.
Jack, I think you gotta help your what would you call a fellow student? I guess a fellow student out. Otherwise he's really gonna be late.
Well,
I think this is a test for you to be a leader.
When he's done washing and making sure that his pack is packed and everything's done, and he just makes the wind go really fucking cold around him, and it's just like and tucks the blanket around so that you will shiver, man. You will shiver.
How cold?
Cold.
Who turned on the air condition?
We're going to be late if you don't get up. Come on. It's a good new day. Come on.
Yeah. He gets up, slowly walking on, taking on clothes. As he then, take his bag and walk out. Clearly tired.
And you know what? I can relate. I really do.
Keith is not a morning person.
I also get up 15 minutes before my job and then just go there tired as hell. Hi, you don't have an alarm clock, do you?
What's that?
Exactly, but your room is suddenly filled with the faint sense of food that grows stronger and stronger.
That'll wake him up.
Yeah.
Eventually, once his stomach stops to growl, which might be heard to the 2 rooms on either side of him, like...
Lily and Freya, how would you wake up in the morning? And if you don't want to specify, we can jump to you at the breakfast table.
I mean, Lily probably woke up around 4 in the morning.
Well, why would she do that? That's horrible.
She has hair to fix.
All right.
You can't go to school or anything else with messy hair.
Of course you can.
No.
That is unregal.
Indeed. And so she spends a lot of time every morning fixing her hair.
All right.
Which is basically half the things she dumped into those rooms to help with that.
It's it's still a shame about it being so violently cut short. Yes,
it is.
What would have been done had someone cut your hair back at home? Like that.
Well, it would probably at least have been fined. Probably arrested.
Only fined?
Yeah,
Yeah, only fined. But it also depends on the kind of person and how much they cut. Because they might be just be put in jail as well.
so what would happen if they cut someone bald?
I mean, they don't have a death sentence. If they did, they would have put it for that. That's like several years in jail.
Waxing someone's head.
Alright. Lily, after you're done completing your hair
does not be heard.
to its fullness and blush and all the silky smoothness and shine that it needs to have, Freya is still laying in her bed with muttly hair and not much movement. Class is starting in about half an hour from now.
Try to see if I can find a random ball in the room, just throw it at her. But oh, wait, come on!
Freya, you've been hit by a ball in your sleep. What does that do for you?
She's kind of just still staying very still, but then no matter what Lily does, unless she whistles, in about 15 minutes she'll probably just kind of sit up unperturbed, get up, start going to breakfast.
Yeah, I think you can hear Lobo barking down at the breakfast site. That's a good sign to hear. Seems she slept well.
Did.
Yes.
I'm sure I helped.
As you walk into breakfast, you're met with a very promising sight. Someone prepared a really nice breakfast all around. And people are already gathered around the table, munching down. Especially Chico McWaddle. She's stuffing things into her mouth. Eos, you'd be the first one at the scene.
He kind of looks like he's just...
Just a second.
No problem.
He
Continue.
does not look awake at all.
But then you see all this delicious food.
It would be a loud rumbling sound from him.
Chico McWaddle actually looks up, hearing the rumbling.
Interesting food!
And then she grabs one of these, looks like a bit of food, and she tosses it at you. Head first, or aim for the head.
He practically just catches it with his mouth and just vanishes down as he just walks up to take a seat and just squints. He does not look awake at all.
Chico McWaddle applauds, and Spectral asks you, "So, how did it taste?"
He gives it a thumbs up, like bone crunching and whatnot. Anything that's in it, like it just goes crunch, crunch, crunch.
Yeah, sure. Why not? It was like a chicken leg. Lily, you can now move your tokens on the screen, just to say. And
You'd probably end up somewhere around here then.
Yeah. Spectral is saying, "So I do not really need sleep, and I do love cooking, so I thought for the first day I would prepare a nice meal for everyone."
Oh, how nice! Thank you.
That's so
How much
cool.
food is it approximately?
Oh, it's a table full. Probably not enough to make you completely full. How could she have known?
Not enough for these two that the red line covers.
She's already has a head start, so she's about half full and has taken about a quarter of the table up for herself as she is munching down on some fish.
He just reaches over to one of the plates and just grabs the entire plate and just starts to eat. I think he'll grab this one. I'm gonna that one and just.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really have etiquette at all.
The other four arrive at approximately the same time as Lobo is standing on the table slobbering down on some meatballs.
Well, Jack is going to use his wind powers to just like make 2 plates real quick, like a bit of this, a bit of that, like super fast, so that no one else can take it before giving one of the plates to Keith. It's like, here you go. Some use for the wind power.
Lily's probably just jumping, prancing, skipping up to the table, just taking small pieces, but a bit of everything. And she unlike someone else, has overly, what should we say, overly fancy etiquette.
Okay, so she does take like what do you call it? Cutlery
Yes.
to eat.
Chaos doesn't.
No, neither does she.
Doesn't make sense for him.
And neither does Lobo, for that matter. He doesn't have opposable
I'm
thumbs.
so surprised.
Lobo is Lobo, though.
You can see that Waki is looking over to you, Lily, as he's sort of looking you over with a, I don't know, with behind his glasses, he's kind of staring at you.
I just wave like, hi.
He misses with his fork and pokes himself into the cheek. It's like, oh.
She's either unaware of her unnatural beauty, or she doesn't seem to care.
That gets his attention back to food, at least.
Yes.
I would have slept better if Lobo's translator wasn't translating his snores.
Nice.
Lobo looks up. His translator actually goes om nom nom while he's eating. In the background.
Of course it does.
And he says,
Nom 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 nom.
I would have gotten more sleep if you weren't up all night on the internet. To which Waki replies, I was chatting with my family. They gotta know how I was doing on my first day. Lobo looks up to Freya and says, he was playing video games till 2 in the night.
Oh, he's such a nerd. I love him.
You can come to our room if it's too loud.
Yes, I would love to see these things.
Yeah, sure. As long as we tell nobody.
I always want to see more things about more examples of human entertainment.
Oh, so you want to play some video games with me? I have 2 controllers.
Sure.
Awesome.
You'll probably have to explain it a bit, but yeah.
Okay, I can show you. It's real easy. He's gonna backseat game the shit out of you, I'm sure.
Yes. Yes.
As you all had
mind.
a filling meal, more or less, depending on the persona. Looking at you, Hayas.
Cough.
You were actually fighting with Chico McQuaddle over the last chicken leg. It ended up with both of you tearing at it with your teeth.
I think Hayes will probably just crunch down on it so that. Which end does she have?
I guess the bone end, the foot end.
He basically just crunched down so that he cuts the bone off and just chew it off.
As you crunch down, she tumbles backwards over the table multiple times till she lands down on the floor.
And then he just chews it, and everyone around the table hears this. It sounds sickening.
Oh dear.
Uh,
I think Spectral makes a mental
between
notice to
him
next
and
time try
food
boneless
isn't
chicken.
good. What?
Next time, debone chicken.
Yeah.
To avoid listening comfort.
Yeah. I mean, his physiology is kind of strange compared to regular humans right now.
Yes. Moments later, we transition over to the classroom. Now everybody's gotta pick a space for themselves. Actually, I gotta go through and make all your character sheet tokens editable again. Or just ping where you want to be. Yeah, let's ping where you want to be.
Well, I think
I'm gonna place first. Yeah, every team gets to place one after another. So, Team A, who wants to go first? Okay, Chaos goes over
I'll go
there.
middle of the. Oh, who's pinging? Never mind.
Chaos.
That's me.
Team B, who wants
Yoink.
to place a Team B member where?
Devin would. Ah,
That's Lisa.
Alright, sure.
She wants a window seat.
Okay, she's gonna sit in front of Chaos. That's fair.
we all know the protagonist sits next to the window.
Alright. Unfortunately, you can't all sit next to the window. Let's see. Oh yeah, Holly would already be there. I think she's gonna sit... I shouldn't think she's gonna sit here on the right side row. Somewhere in the middle.
right. Then Keith is going to sit here.
Okay, he sits next to her. Okay.
He wants to prove that he's not a bad guy.
Okay.
And he's gonna fail.
Shut it!
No.
Next person.
Where's Jennifer's token?
Right, that's the only person I forgot.
I think Rosa would sit down back here.
Come on, Jennifer.
Assuming
There
she's
she
sitting
is.
on the ground, but I don't think she would be sitting on the roof that often or the ceiling.
Should
No,
be
that was
sit
just-
around here.
Okay. Freya, where do you want to sit?
Well, she wanted to sit in the middle of class, but now Keith's there. So she's going to be more like back here-ish.
Okay, and where would Lobo be? Would he be with you?
He wants to sit in the front of the class.
Okay.
He's excited.
Yeah. He's got his own little table.
Wagging his tail.
Yeah.
Because everyone's stealing the front rows of the class.
Now, Lily.
Everyone almost. Those three only took the three best spots. The window or the close to the door? Window close to... I think she's going to be sitting here, next to Lobo.
Alright. I'm gonna put Chico McQuaddle is gonna sit here next to Chaos. So they can share snacks during class.
I'm gonna head check right there.
Okay.
Almost 3 full rows.
Indeed.
You know, it's actually going up if I'm just gonna readjust this a little bit. This being the front row. And this being sort of the second row. And this back here is the third row. I'm gonna draw some little tables in between. Next one... where's Devon Ice gonna sit?
Well, there's only 3 seats left.
Oh, I know.
Well,
Yeah.
well, he's. He's actually going.
Yeah.
Devin is actually going to sit beside Keith.
Okay, yeah, sure. Jennifer is excited, as is Rosa, and as is Lisa somewhat shyly, not wanting to show that she actually cares that Devin sits next to her. Wacky is gonna
Amazingly enough, Lisa might actually probably feel quite safe between the trio.
That could
trio of
work,
guys.
yeah. And then Spectral takes the last place. There we go, that's our class seating. Cool, nice.
Yay! You succeeded in that something.
Yeah, indeed, indeed. Now the first part of the class is gonna be relatively standard. You've got your average classes like math, English. I got some biology first day, and then there's
No
a big lunch
transdimensional
break.
physics.
No transdimensional. What?
Transdimensional physics.
You check your schedule up and down. It says nothing about transdimensional physics. However, there is hero history on the afternoon after lunch.
Huh, I guess that's also could also be interesting.
Yes. Let's say, what do you think, how interested or engaged is your character in the school matter of these standard topics? Just to give me a first impression of how excited your character is to go to school.
What's this education thing you're talking about? Is Hale's reaction. Like, he doesn't have any. Literally no education whatsoever.
Chico McWaddle leans over and says, "Don't worry, all that matters is how hard you can punch as a hero."
He says and just thinks of when he ripped off the leg of the Mechazilla, like, does that count? He thinks in his head.
Yeah.
Probably.
Rip and tear.
Yes.
Because ripping that thing off is, well, yeah, enough said.
Not bad.
Layla's probably, well, she's going to try her damn best to seem interested. Hence why she's in the front, but, well, she is a princess. She's probably had the homeschooling since very, very early.
How do you like this Earth biology stuff, though?
It's interesting. It's not so something I usually focus on. Usually all engineering goes, well, robots, lots of them.
Yes. It's interesting how biological things function.
Yes, it is. I'm more interested in history classes, obviously, but...
Yeah. Keith, how much are you keeping up with school now?
He's trying
Obviously,
to keep up.
you seem to be missing at least 1 year on average.
Yes. He's trying to keep up, but, you know, he has the habit of his attention going somewhere else.
Where is your attention going at the moment, in this case?
Out of the window, mostly inside his own head.
Alright, yeah. Outside, the clouds are starting to pull together. What was a sunny morning seems to be a bit overcast now, as we near midday. Freya, how excited are you to be at school?
She is not particularly excited. She doesn't really like English. It doesn't make sense to her. And the math, when it's just the numbers, she has no idea what to do. But as soon as there was a word problem, she aces it.
Interesting little tidbit. Nice. What about Lisa? How is she doing on the theoretical side of hero, or, well, school stuff?
She's alright. She's actually pretty good at school in general. Like she's really painfully shy. So unless the teacher actually asks her a question, she wouldn't. Like she does not just volunteer information.
Well, thankfully you're a relatively small class, so the teachers try and engage you as much as possible.
She started through the answers, but they are usually right.
Then there comes the big lunch break. Finally, the doorbell rings. We're gonna need like a little clock symbol up there or somewhere. And
Ding dong.
yeah. You get lunch. There's a small cafeteria. Since you're only 15 students, they don't need a huge cafeteria at the moment with some food being made for you. Hey, you get to go eat seconds, but no thirds, and the food is empty.
He pouts because he's really hungry. Like, stomach's still rumbling
Where would you...
Loudly.
You know what? This seems to be a problem. How could you get more food here?
He's gonna try and find more food in the school.
Where would... Yeah, sure. As you wander around the school here, roll me assess the situation. Because you're trying to find food, obviously. Mark may potential, but you do not find anything edible around the school. You know, it's not a big place either, so you've looked through it relatively quickly.
He looks at the time. When is he supposed to be back in class?
15 minutes. It's a long lunch break for all the students to relax and socialize a bit. If they want to. Also, you know, go out on the fresh air. There is a playground outside with some sand where you can just run around, sit.
He's gonna try and find food elsewhere then.
Outside the school.
Yeah, I mean, he's hungry. He needs food.
You seem to have overheard somewhere in the school rules that you're not supposed to leave the school area during school time, but hey, you're hungry. As you wander the streets, I want you to roll me a 1d10. You find a food place.
Is it a supermarket?
No, actually, it's just a place with that seems to be you're lured in by the smell of food, and looks as you step inside, it's a small abode but decently clean. And well, it's a small to medium room for maybe 20 people at break time. Right now, they have obviously lunchtime, so there's let's see. Yeah, it's rather crowded around lunch. You hear cooks being stirred in the back, you know, food being prepared, cutlery on plates, people chatting mutedly.
I think you would kind of just like, okay, I probably should not be here. As he looks around, he probably looks out of place in the school uniform and the scales and whatnot.
Yes. Yeah. You're all wearing your school uniforms, of course. That would be looking lovely. Especially on Spectral, she just wears it over her costume. So she looks like an owl with the uniform on.
He'll try and find a supermarket instead, if possible.
Yeah, you slowly back out as people start turning and looking over you, and someone takes out his cell phone and snaps a photo of you as you turn around and go away. Because hey, you're a curiosity, aren't you? Finding yourself a supermarket is easy enough. Do you have any money on you?
No.
I figured.
I just don't understand the concept of money yet, to say the least, so to speak.
At least they try and start.
I thought Lele was the outsider here.
Oh well. Hey, maybe Lily and him can learn together. You can teach him about, you know, money. Now, the supermarket is decently busy. It's midtime. There's mostly old people. Because they don't have to work. It's my experience anyway, when you go early morning to midday. It's always old people in there. Lots of them.
He'll walk around in there a bit to see what he thinks would be tasty. Then again, food in general is better than what he used to have.
I mean, are you just gonna start tasting stuff, you know, opening it up, eating it?
Yeah.
Alright.
Like, trying to do it a bit sneakily, like, when no one's watching, like, take a cannonball, like,
Is that because he knows it's wrong what he's doing?
It seems that way, yes.
Yeah. No, I asked if it was because he knows that what he's doing is wrong. Is that why he's doing it the sneaky way?
kinda?
Alright, mark guilty.
I mean, he's done it before.
Okay. I also want you, and that is just a random roll me a 2d6. If you miss, which means 6 or lower, you're gonna get caught. If you hit 10 or plus, you're free to go without any complications. On a 7 to 9, there's some complications. And yes.
It's
Now you don't mark potential for this. That's just a normal roll. Just for me to see, because there's no stealth in this roll or anything. But I go. Yeah.
Oops.
You're good at this. Hey, at least you get more potential than I am.
Once you're tracing
potential.
a particular delicious yogurt with your tongue, you are being grabbed on the shoulder. Hey, what are you doing there, kid? Holy! What you're looking at behind you is a mall cop, who seems rather surprised to see a monster like you eating in the shop. He was just expecting a normal teenager.
He blinks a couple of times like, shit. And tries to run away. He's quite fast after all with his strength.
The mall cop tries chasing after you for a while, but he's also talking to his walkie-talkie. It seems like we have a criminal here. Looks like a villain to me.
Well done. Well done.
Alright, where are you running, Hayas?
Anywhere.
Okay, you just start running. And this is funny for me, because I didn't plan for this to happen, but hey, that works out anyway. Alright. Let me see. 1, 2, 4... Okay, yes. As you run away fastly, you stumble into an elderly-looking man, and it's not the Sandman. He actually, you know what? As you run past him, he puts a leg up front and you trip over it. He was just sitting at a bistro drinking his tea. But he seemed to have incredibly fast reflexes for someone who is of his age. I'm gonna shrink him down a bit. He's wearing a set of glasses and some old-fashioned outfit. Or maybe he's just walking out here in a bathrobe. You can't tell exactly.
Hales probably panics a bit after the trips and just scrambles to his feet and tries to continue running.
Yeah, as you try to continue running, you hit an invisible wall and right in front of you. What do? It's like you're pressing against a glass window that you can't see.
He'll try and get away from it any direction.
You find you are quite caged in an invisible trap, and the man, finishes off his tea watching you with a curious look in his eyes.
Hayes looks kind of petrified because of what he's experienced in the past, as you know, Atom.
Alright, mark me afraid then.
And I am feeling kind of bad for what might happen if he panics completely.
Now, who do we have here? The man slides his chair closer, still holding onto his tea and just sitting in front of this invisible box looking at you. It seems like someone is running awfully fast.
He blinks a couple of times and just tries to look for a way out, like, where can I go?
You see, the way is completely clear in all directions, though every time you try to move, you feel yourself blocked in. Not so close that you couldn't move, but you can't take 2 steps without hitting your face against an invisible wall. Might you mind me telling what you are running from, young man?
Superstore?
And what have you been doing in that superstore?
Eating?
He leans closer over to you, and then a smile curls over his lips, and he says, "Shouldn't you be in school right now?"
Yeah. I was hungry. I didn't get enough.
Didn't get enough. Are you still growing?
He nods.
The man takes a little biscuit that they often offer you with tea and hands it to you as a token of goodwill. You find that he has no problems passing through that barrier that seems to be there.
Are you creating whatever makes so I can't move?
Perhaps I'm creating it, or perhaps it is your own conscious, isn't it? Now, I'd say if you were a good boy, you would go back to school and be happy for the food you've been given. There are many people who have to go with less. And
Okay.
you'll have to promise me not to steal. If you need money, you'd need to ask people. They are maybe willing to share if you ask nicely.
I'll try.
Otherwise, you'll find yourself ending up trapped somewhere forever.
Oh dear.
The man slides his chair back to his table, unfolds a newspaper, and pretends like nothing has ever happened.
Chaos reaches an arm out to see if the wall is gone.
You look like a pantomime doing that, yes, but the wall seems to be gone.
And off he goes.
Off he goes. Amazing. Chaos, you're the last one back in school, in the classroom anyway. Lobo looks over and asks, "Hey, you're late, where have you gone? We started missing you."
Points outside.
"We didn't see you in the schoolyard. You must have found a crude hiding spot. Can you show me?"
Kinda, yeah. He says as he starts to walk just along the wall to his seat.
You find that the front window has been opened during the lunch break, and it's still open, although a slight rain has set in as the clouds have become a bit thicker, coloring the sky into a murky gray. The class is about to start, but your teacher hasn't arrived yet.
Probably the teacher's gonna arrive through the storm.
5 minutes passed. 5 minutes past class start. Teacher's still not there.
I think well, basically a scanner just to scan the nearby area of life signs.
So it keeps the first day of school and our teacher is not here. What a bad day. Hey, maybe they're giving us free class to this today, huh?
Maybe.
Lily, unleash your powers to see and scan for for the area.
Possibly go wrong. Let's see. Unleash my powers. I only have insecure, that's fine.
Oh,
Yep.
wow.
Because I am amazing. I also have free and freak because I'm freaky.
Nice. You have a full hit. Your scanner detects something heading towards you and fast. Not on the ground, mind you.
I think your teacher is on his or her way. Very, very fast.
What made you think that?
I just hold up the scanner to show you.
It's just like a Dragon Ball radar. That's
Wait,
Yes.
to the... Huh. And Is
Just
that
showing his fingers moving really fast.
That's kind of an awesome technology. Can you make one of those?
Probably if I can find the parts.
At that moment, someone comes flying through the window that was opened. He looks a bit rain-wet, but he immediately strikes a pose. Haha, don't fear! I am here! And he moves his hand through his hair, just flicking it, and just droplets start twinkling through the air. And you can see Devon nose twitch, like, this is my move. But how can he be so cool doing it? Everyone, roll me a powerful blow.
Why?
Everyone, all of us.
So,
Yes.
conditions?
Yes, plus conditions. Take a powerful blow.
I mean,
Thank
every
God.
single one of us.
Yes, every single one of you.
Full hit.
Thank God I'm going to focus on my scanner too.
Oh, I'm perfectly fine.
I'm trying to about how can you replace the powers of this thing with something from this world?
Why? The freak button. Oh wait, wrong one, yeah. Never
I
mind.
take it we all have to roll twice.
No, just once. Why would you roll twice? That's fine. If you have a miss, then you mark potential, but you're completely not taken by this. However, Keith, you are totally struck by this introduction. Your face lights up, and you're completely entranced by this amazing pose. You gotta try this yourself. Hayos, you're similar impressed. However, you are, let's see, on a 7 to 9. You're impressed by it, but you would only be impressed if he wasn't late and somehow, he's rain soaked. You can clearly see that he's posing professionally, over his costume has gotten all wet. Which kind of detracts from the coolness factor.
Or slightly.
Yep.
Hello, class! Welcome to your first lesson of hero history with I, Mr. Sunshine.
Yay!
Yeah, many of your colleagues are also struck with this awe for him. Who here has never seen Mr. Sunshine before, actually? Of your characters? In person?
Well, every character has nearly seen him because he was there in the
Desert.
last.
I mean, your characters, not you as a player. We as an audience.
Yeah, he was in the desert.
He was in this arc. In the last session we had.
True, right. I forgot. Sorry.
Maybe Freya. No, wait, Freya have. My bad.
I think, yes, right. I had a little
But the point is,
there,
Keith
no problem.
didn't get answered his question last time when he asked Rachel who he actually was.
Right. Now he introduced himself. He is gonna walk over to the desk, and he puts down a little backpack. It almost looks like he's having one of your school backpacks, and he's gonna take out some papers, and he says, "So, for hero history, it is only right that we're gonna start at the beginning, where heroes come from, and don't be afraid to ask me any question you can come up with." He smiles at you encouragingly. But there is something.
Can we get more food?
He reaches into his backpack and tosses you an apple.
Okay, it's just
Of course, I have always some healthy nourishment with me.
Of course he does.
He just eats it in one go,
A healthy appetite, I see. Quite like myself when I was younger. He pets his completely abbed out stomach.
It has the beetroot, which you can't, which you hate.
So, how have you been on your first night? I know I'm quite excited to have my first lesson. He sort of brushes behind his head, and he seems quite, bashful and charmed, kind of nervous actually. He seems surprisingly human up close.
Dude. He's slightly less perfect. Great. I approve of this.
Let's see here. I know a lot of people always ask about heroes. Where do we come from? Why do we do what we do? And where are we gonna go from here? All that we are gonna answer. You see, it all started back in the 50s. That was even before my time, he points his thumb at himself. So you might not believe it, but I've not always been the biggest hero in the world.
Ooh. Lily tries to sound impressed.
What?
I have a weird feeling that the whole of the original group, minus the Righteous Ranger, would completely and utterly disagree with that assessment.
Which one? Which assessment? Exactly.
That he's the greatest, the largest, the biggest hero of them all.
No, that's a wrong assessment, Umbra. Because Scarlet thinks so too.
So
Yes,
basically, Striker Umbra thinks he's the greatest.
No, don't think he's the greatest.
Otrix hates his guts, but
He is a divisive hero, but he brings out consistent results. Let's see.
And Otrix and Striker and Umber don't.
They do too. But he continues, to continue this, he says, but there have always been rumors about heroes. You see, back in old legends, we had different cultures with their personal heroes. Of course, back then, they were all very much limited to what they know. But even back then, people knew about gods and myths and legends, and there's always some corn of truth in there. Perhaps those old heroes, you might call them, were indeed just that. People with extra power. People who could fly in the sky. People with incredible technology. He looks over at Lily, who's still playing with her scouter, probably.
yes. Yes. What else would you do?
But of course, since there's now modern history, it seems to be that more and more heroes are emerging with every generation, and he pulls out his arms towards you. You are Halcyon's first class. And sure enough, once you're through here, with my help, you are gonna be Halcyon's first class. And he gives you a thumbs up with a wide smile.
Keep eye sparkles. Oh, nearly sparkles. Ooh.
First class?
Lisa looks
What?
really uncomfortable while Jack just smiles at his trademark grin.
Now, of course, back in the 50s, the heroes were very much lone wolves, emerging here and there, and they had to deal with something of local problems. There was, of course, the Great World War that they had to fight on different sides. And there were mad scientists, corrupt politicians, natural disasters. Those were the things that the heroes of the Gold Generation fought against, and what they are still known for.
Old generation. Right.
Yes. For example, like my mentor, Chromatella. He smiles. Ah yes, well, he's not that well known. He brushes the back of his cheek. He likes to stay a bit recluse. You see, back in the day, most heroes were actually humans and very much indistinguishable from the normal person. Many of them actually hid their identity quite well, had regular everyday jobs, and needed a convenient phone booth to get into their hero costumes. Of course, with the rise of smartphones, that got very much impractical. Now we use closets or public bathrooms.
Keith holds up his hand. Wait, did you actually use phone booth? You know, like in the old Superman comics?
Indeed. They're the perfect space for some privacy.
Just
make sure to lock the door.
You have
Superman.
booths that can change your clothes for you? Amazing!
No, phone booth are some really old things that you used to call people on with. I think it was, at least.
Yes,
Superman.
that's right. It's like a smartphone with a line to the wall. And then a line goes through the ground and comes out at someone else's line phone. Back then, people didn't have to
completely
ask the question, where are you? Because you are where your phone was. In the living room. Or the kitchen. Some people had it in the bathroom, but I don't know why.
That sounds weird.
Indeed, now it's not weird anymore to be on your phone in the bathroom. The comfort of modern society and progress.
Oh, I approve.
If you have any questions about this gold generation, the golden generation, some of them are still around even. Just feel free to ask at any time. Like my mentor, for example. He is currently camping out somewhere in the Himalayas.
Where is this Himalayas?
It is a large mountain range in Eurasia, just north of India.
That sounds
Imagine the
amazing.
tallest point on our planet.
Ooh. I should fly there sometime.
You can fly. That is amazing. He gives you a thumbs up.
I can fly too.
Well, I can't fly. My bike can fly.
Ah, so you're one of the more technical-minded. You see, there was once a very technical-minded hero in the Gold Generation as well.
He's fiddling with his basic technology piece that no one's ever seen. Like, what? Technology? But yes.
Yes, there was actually quite a technological-minded hero, even in the Gold Generation. But back then, most gadgets that came up around that time were not comparable to what we have now. Technology marches on.
So,
As it always should. Can not afford to become stagnant.
is it known who the very first superhero was?
We're not quite sure. But I think Ice Lord's grandfather might have been the first publicly known superhero. And he looks over at Devon. Devon, make up a name for your great-grandfather. Or more like Jack, since you're controlling Devon.
No, Keith is controlling
Keith.
Devon.
No, Jack is controlling... Okay, right, Keith. Damn it. I was thinking...
This would happen. I knew this would happen.
No, this time I really thought Jack was Devin's friend, not Keith. But Keith is, so...
Fire and ice,
Oh.
remember that.
Yes.
Fire nice. Superhero name or real name?
Superhero name.
Ice King.
Ice King. He did a lot for the preservation of Antarctica, but there was that nasty incident with the Titanic. He really doesn't like me to bring that up, but it happened.
Oh my god.
What is this Titanic you speak of? It sounds incredible.
It was an incredible ship. That met a Titanic disaster. Excuse the pun. It was terrible.
A ship? Did you have access to spacefaring technology that early?
No, in fact, we do not have... Well, we do only have limited spacefaring technology. Back then, ships were sailing the large oceans. Imagine like an ice cube in your water bottle, and then put your pen in it. That's a ship. Or something that floats, actually. A piece of paper.
Oh, same.
I need to show you Class Once an Ocean.
Well, I saw I think the whole planet is covered with something
Exactly.
blue. I assume that's the ocean.
The blue is the ocean, and Halcyon City has a nice beach. You should check it out one time. I cleaned it up myself.
I will do that. She just took some note. A date that just writes out, go to the beach. It has some things to do.
Rosa would raise up her arm and ask, if you cleaned up a beach all on yourself, and you're teaching this class right now, where do you take all that time? And he says, aha, well, to be quite frankly, we're living in a wonderful age of heroism where there's no real villain anymore to contend with. So that way, I have plenty of free time to teach the next generation on how to do it, should any of those evildoers reel their heads above the skyline.
So, Keith takes up then. Wait, so you are cleaning beaches, you are teaching schools.
And
Do
I'm
you have
repairing
time?
wash machines.
And you are repairing wash machines. Do you ever have time, to have to your wife or something? Or do you even have a wife?
Well, that's a very personal question, but no harm asking. Haha. I do not have a wife. I can't find the time between being a full-time hero. You know,
Not even a girl?
if
Not
I
even a
was to make a
girlfriend?
smart comment here, I would say, I am married to justice! And he gives like this wide smile with the twinkle in his teeth.
Well, that does sound kind of lonely.
Well, I do have a lot of admirers, and once you have as many as I and are in the public spotlight as often, you're just happy for a quiet moment. Unfortunately, I am really easy to spot on in public, which makes it hard for me.
You kinda stick out like me.
Yes, and don't worry about sticking out. It is a great trait for a hero.
Chaos raises an eyebrow like, really?
Indeed.
Looks kinda skeptical.
If you stick out enough, people will first, of course, judge you by your looks. But that can be a huge bonus because people will at least look at you. One of the original 24 was invisible. He never got much publicity. He went lost at one point. Nobody found him since. You see, there were about, 24 superheroes back in the Gold Generation. All scattered across the globe. Now look at this class. There's 15 of you here, plus me of course. So that makes about 24. He gives the wink to Freya. Freya, hearing about these heroes of old, I wonder, is there anything you could ask or learn from them? Anything you're curious about?
She's waiting for him to actually teach the class properly.
Here.
Now, something that I get asked often is, what was the very first super villain? Now, we always had villains around in the Gold Generation, or they. I was just about born then. So I guess it's we. We heroes. He pounds at his chest. We always had villains around, but superpowers were still so rare that nobody even thought about an actual superpowered villain arise. And unfortunately, it came from our own ranks. You see, a hero we called the Baroness. She had a very, very nasty kind of quirk, which was used for much good, and especially technological advancement. She could enhance anything around her. So you could say her powers was enhancement power. That goes for hero abilities, as well as engineering feats. A problem arose when she started collecting all sorts of artifacts that were scattered across Earth from ancient times, or ancient origin, or unearthly origin. The heroes were at first very mistrusting of this, or well, many didn't notice, didn't care, but her actions become more and more scrupulous. From hiring people for suicide missions, into ancient Aztec tombs. Hell, the only man who ever survived that was a man named Indy.
Oh my God, what?
Aztec?
I was supposed to ask the same, so yeah. Excellent.
Ooh, I know about Aztecs, Chico McQuaddle says. They had funny customs. Indeed, and they had their temples quite well secured. Same robberies happened on Egypt, museums where the stuff would have belonged, ancient China, old islands in the Caribbean, and so forth, even Indian burial grounds. It caused up quite a stir that the heroes sought to stop her, but unfortunately, she had amassed so many artifacts that she became quite unstoppable. And it is still the name Thorimi that most people think back when they say villainy. That was her last name.
I think.
Sounds funny.
Do you know where the origin of all these powers that you were shown, or how and where? When did they start showing?
They've always been there. In the antique, there were many heroes that we thought were heroes, but most people in the... Well, there was the 1800s, early 1900s, when we thought everything could be explained with science. You know, we thought we had figured everything out. Until we got a bit smarter and hero powers became the abnormal, the curia, the thing that could not be explained by science. And since then, the name hero started showing as these people with superpowers started using them for good or bad, as we found out with the Baroness. It took all 24 heroes combined to take her down in a 2-month standoff. Ultimately, she surrendered. We had not beaten her with our powers, but starved her out. Keith, your stomach is grumbling at the same time. You could not imagine a worse end of being starved out, oh no.
What do you mean, Keith?
Oh, sorry, Hayas. Damn it, it's happening!
Right, Keith is everyone apparently.
This is why I actually put down a little name tag onto my characters.
Thank you for doing that. You're most welcome. Of course, it wasn't that easy for the heroes as just to bunch up on her. She had established all sorts of nefarious organizations, like the Court of Blades, which were just thugs with swords, who are unfortunately still lingering today. But I'm sure Defense Against Villainy will tell you more about that bunch. Huh. But she wasn't the only... She didn't not only cause bad things, you know. For the first time in history, all heroes of the world united. And after she was beaten, they formed the Hero Association to make sure that no hero ever turns villain again. To have some oversight over what happens.
Are you part of that?
I am part of the Hero Association, indeed. Before, if you wanted to become a hero, you had to go through a mentor program with an association certified hero. He gives you a thumbs up.
Do you know anyone, or do we know anyone who actually went through this mentor program, or who
You
who
can
was
ask
part of
your
the Hero
teacher,
Association?
Miss Corville, about it. She went through it, as did the head teacher. In fact, ask her. She's a bit more forthcoming in that regard. We have this anime style of like Mr. Sunshine actually having some, this, oh god, not Umbra. She's scary. Even to him.
It's a job to be scary.
Okay, so Umbra's job was to be scary, Rachel's job was to be what?
I would say she was the good heart of the group.
I thought that was Yvette.
Well, this is for the players. This was what Mr. Sunshine felt. Like,
I
Rachel
think
always
it's
had
more
a
of
good
a
heart.
case like Rachel was the main, almost hero, in its own way. And then we
Well,
had Felix as a comic relief. Otrix and Umbra actually doing all
Ostrix
the
was the
heavy lifting with
powerhouse,
Striker.
like or maybe he was like the dark guy of the group, you know, the anti-hero. I guess Umbra was also sort of the brooding anti-hero. I think Rachel was very much the heart, but Righteous Ranger was the moral compass.
Indeed.
That actually sounds pretty good, yeah.
And what was Striker?
He was the genius, of course.
The cold-hearted genius.
Basically, how that worked in real life was basically that Otrix, Striker, and Umbra actually did all the heavy lifting, so Rachel could do actually something worthwhile.
Rachel was
Thank
making
you.
some very heroic decisions when she, saved her people. That's a hero thing to do. Now, Mr. Sunshine says, let's come to something even more awesome than the gold generation. The silver generation, and that means, of course, me! He strikes another pose, a different one each time.
Mr. Why is it called the gold and silver generation? Why giving them, the same as medals?
Just to differentiate them. The gold is, of course, the first, and the silver is the second. And as you can guess what the third is gonna be, the bronze generation.
Oh, I see. That's actually pretty clever.
Then we had to think of something, more advanced once we got into the fourth generation. Consolidation price generation wasn't right in the cards. Though it was brought up at one point by some grumpy gold generationers. If you ever meet a very old hero, chances are he was from the gold generation. Now, you might not know, but I trained with Chromatella all the way up there in the Himalayas. And I wasn't the only one. He thought out talented individuals to practice the hero arts. It was all about physical strength and quickness of mind, he points at his head. And of course, embodying what it means to be a hero. What do you, class, think makes a hero? And he first points at Lobo.
He'll say boundless courage.
You, the girl behind him, Holly is your name, right? He looks up at a cheat sheet. A hero does good? And a hero is faithful. Yes, what would a hero be faithful? He looks over to Keith.
I need that again. What makes hero?
What
faithful?
would a hero be faithful to?
You know, he looks for a moment over at Holly, and inside his, now it's my time to show her I'm a good guy.
Don't say anything
but just-
stupid.
Yeah, don't say anything stupid. Don't say anything stupid. And
Please.
you know he stands up and like about to say something, but he just
Strike a pose.
actually
You
don't-
want to strike a pose like Mr. Sunshine when you say it.
no, he's just like, I actually don't know. He built up and then it all is destroyed for him. No, I actually don't know.
Aw.
What would Rosa then answer when it comes to saying what needs the hero to be faithful to?
Protecting people, making sure they don't come to harm.
Oh snap, Keith! Do you hear that? Mark a condition.
Oh, he feels insecure because he didn't actually know that answer. It should
And
be so
it kind
clear,
of
but it-
stings. Give me your
That
best.
kind of things. As he just sits down and just slam his head down on his table. I'm stupid, 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 stupid.
Smart paper airplane soon flies to him before unfolding, and there's a note from Jack. I'll help you study later on, Jack. Smiley face.
He looks over at Jack. With hope in his eyes. Yay!
Please save me.
It's like bro time.
Yes.
Of course, the Silver Generation was plagued with all sorts of problems. As much as the Hero Association tried, superheroic threats suddenly started popping out all over the place. Once people figured out they had superpowers, everybody wanted to rule the world. And then there were extraterrestrial threats that started to crop up and threaten the very existence of humanity.
Like Boxshot.
Indeed,
What kind of-
although that is a recent example. But he would fit very much the qualities of a Silver Generation villain.
What kind of extraterrestrial threats are these?
A giant ship crashed right next to Halcyon City, and for a few moments the whole city was on alert. Heroes rushed in, expecting some aliens to pour out, but none did. In fact, nobody has been ever able to get into the ship at all. It has a giant shield mechanism on it. It's now the city has
Say
grown
that to
all around
Striker.
it.
Say that to Umbra as well.
You can still see it in the skyline when you look south from here.
Huh, I should investigate the chip. Maybe I know where it's from. Maybe I can recognize from my own history.
Just be careful, every now and then it makes very uncomforting noises. It keeps
Right.
it keeps the neighborhood cheap. We don't know if it's gonna blow up at one point, but it hasn't been for 50 years.
I mean, yes, I'm sure it's fine.
But it was also a great age for discovery and, finding new hero powers. White Cape, one of the greatest heroes who fought against the Baroness Storimi, he founded Cape Town at the Horn of Africa. And since then it had always been the prime hero city, right next to Halcyon City. Of course, as you might have heard in the news, they recently had some trouble over there in the past couple of years. Terrorism.
Terrible things.
Yes, indeed. You see, one of the greatest threats the planet faced at that time was from a hero named Radio. It was an age of nuclear power, and he was an unfortunate side experiment gone terribly wrong. We thought him caged and his nuclear powers under control, powering half the city with it. But 3 years ago he broke out, and with him, a huge part of the city got blown up, including the Hero Association's headquarters. We lost hundreds of good heroes that day.
Oh, my condolences.
Indeed, I lost some good friends. It would not have been for Ice Lord, my good old rival, that brought him down. And he was not alone. A young team, much like you had founded on your trial day, also fought alongside him and helped took down Radio and all the miscontents that he attracted.
Who were they?
Oh, let me think about it. I remember seeing in the news a young girl, young boy, slime monster, another young little boy with a weird helmet on, and I think the last one looked was totally a human as well. Human girl.
I would
with a
almost assume
big
that
hair.
Emma's mentor was around there. He's Silver Generation.
Indeed, he probably was. He may have... I mean, that was 3 years ago, so your mentor probably was around as well, yeah. And he was probably around when Radio first broke out as well. His shadow powers could have helped a lot. Well, that team has gone on to break all the records recently. I might not. He looks left and right, as if he expects Umbra to be listening in, which she probably is. He says, I might not need to tell you this early, but there is a yearly tournament where the young heroes compete against each other. And that team has won twice in a row now. I heard this time around it's going to be held in Halcyon City.
And Keith, just laying flat out on his desk, like he's totally defeated.
Aw.
I screwed up.
Tournament for what?
Tournament for young heroes to test their strengths against each other, in a controlled environment, of course. And for the whole world to watch. He spreads out his arms in a glorious pose.
Ooh.
Huh.
It is
It
where
does sound great. I mean, but at the same time, aren't we supposed to actually use our powers to protect people rather than,
Here,
Going to
there's
tournaments?
barely villains left. It's all good. Yay! We can have fun.
Of course you should use your powers to protect people, but it is an excellent chance to show how far you've come in controlling them. And from what I've seen yesterday, I think a lot of you need to work on that.
Oops.
He looks straight back at you, Jack.
Yes, I agree. Umbra needs to control her knives.
Jack just kind of looks at him nervously, like, kind of ruffling the back of his head. I guess training then?
Yes, and I'm sure we're gonna have plenty of training for you prepared.
So long as we get to learn more of the world, I'm in!
Yes, Maximilian Pomwell in the front row would raise his hand, and once Mr. Sunshine points at him, he says, so that all happened when you were very young, and either one, what was the first villain you ever fought against? Aha! Glad you asked. The first villain I fought against and defeated was a foe we called the Dark Tyrant and his Invincibles. He moves his eyebrows around for a few moments and says, of course they weren't as invincible as me.
Oh my god, this guy's such a cliche, I want to puke.
Yes.
That is exactly what he is.
Oh, he's so
At least, if no one else raises their hand, Lisa would actually raise her hand, which is a fucking shock horror.
Alright, what would she ask?
Lisa actually asked him, like, why and how he became a hero? Like, how did he discover his powers? And how did he decide to become a hero instead of a villain?
I would never become a villain. That would go against everything I stand for. However, and he says with a finger pointed in the air, there are times where even heroes have to make tough choices or make mistakes along the way. There have ever been times where I myself was doubting, but only for a moment. Haha. You see, sometimes things do go wrong or different than you planned. You probably have experienced that in your lives. But, like my old mentor used to say, yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. So make the most of today.
Somewhere in the staff room, Amanda's is beating her head to the wall and just kind of
I
like,
think it's Umbra.
why can't I turn my powers off? Why can't I turn my powers off? Why can't I turn my powers? This is torture! I want the raise! You don't pay me enough!
And you know,
Technically, Rachel is the one that pays her.
I think the state, she's a servant of the state, like state employed
yeah,
or city employed.
and you know, Rachel just walked past her with a cup in her hand, taking a sip, and then just, no, and walks away.
She'd hear another defeat.
This is why Otrick is not a teacher.
Same thing why Striker isn't one. He's busy.
Oh,
Alright.
so you're saying that we aren't busy?
No, you're not.
Since he's talking about himself at the moment, does anybody have any good questions? Direct as Mr. Sunshine in his training, and him in general.
Have
Well,
you?
Jack would ask why he's actually teaching in the first place.
I want to make sure that the next generation, which we would call the modern generation, is just as well equipped to deal with anything that comes in the future. If it wasn't for my mentor, I wouldn't be the hero I am today. So I want to be a good mentor to you as well.
And what if we all have what if we have a mentor already?
Double the mentor, double the results. Who is your mentor, if I may ask?
Jack actually grins his usual grin in a happy way. Why?
I'm just curious.
It's Anna Corbel, of course. Umbra.
There's this ever so slightly noticeable crack in Mrs. Sunshine's smile.
Like this small twitch with his eye, like.
Yeah. And then he says, my deepest condolences.
I
agree.
said the same to the rest of the class, but I'm too good-natured for that.
She cut my hair!
Is it really that bad?
Yes!
Lisa actually looks at it and like pushes her fingers together and she says, I think the shorter hair looks really pretty on you.
Welcome back.
How would you take that, someone complimenting to your hair looking pretty or short?
Good question.
And this comes from Lisa, mind you. She probably half fainted by even having that much courage to say that.
I mean, I thank you, but it doesn't. That's not how it works among my people. The longer hair is a status symbol. I'm a princess. I can't allow myself to have short hair. What will people think?
Well, in here, if you want to look like a princess, you should probably wear a tiara.
Tiara.
She quickly takes her phone and just super quick Google and just like shows it to her like really, really shyly.
Oh,
It
pretty.
looks very pretty.
You should definitely have one on tomorrow. You figure, huh?
I should.
Have
Usually
what
our
on?
queens and princesses wear these
tiara.
kinds of jewelry on top of their heads. You know, they're like crowns. It marks them that they're of higher status.
Huh.
She's just like really, really nervously right now. Her like fingers are going basically like tap dancing together, and then she just.
I am
rolls into her
curious.
spell.
How long is her arms?
I don't know. She just headed there.
Oh,
Yeah, she walked across.
I didn't hear that.
Waki would actually, point up at his arm with a kunai in it, and he say, "So you trained in the Himalayas under a master, like a real ninja?"
Of course, he would say that.
Indeed, and I'm quite expertly at martial arts myself. Although I'm more of a, heavy fighter than a nimble one. But don't underestimate my speed, he says, and takes a dash across the room. Before you can even turn your heads fully, he's back at the front.
I'm still looking at the picture, Yara.
You can just feel your hair bruising backwards and breathing forwards from his motion wind.
Jack actually raises his hand.
Yes, Jack.
So, what is exactly your superpower?
My superpower, like many superpowered individuals, I am incredibly strong, tough, and fast, but my power grows stronger the more people I protect. That is my power.
Oh, that's actually kind of amazing.
Indeed, it is, he points at you, Keith.
That explains why you would never become a villain, seeing as that you would be weak.
Indeed. Villainy makes you weak.
Jack actually kind of thinks about
Yes.
this for a moment. Actually, you would be really easy to defeat.
Oh,
At
so?
the end of the day, someone would just have to teleport to somewhere where there's no people, so you can't protect anyone.
Aha! Yeah, but then he is no threat to anyone.
Who says villains can't have friends too?
Well, if he wants to hang out with his friends after a work well done, that hardly makes him a villain.
Yeah, but if the friends attack the city and the villain keeps you busy.
I see. Thankfully, there are, of course, other heroes in this city who are just as strong as me. You see, people keep a top 100 of the strongest heroes around, but it is really just an approximation.
So, who are on the list?
I'm number one, of course, but that doesn't mean that on an off day I might not be beaten by another villain in a head-on fight, or as Jack suggests, in a duel of trickery.
So who's the top 10?
Well, we have Ice Lord as the number 2. You can see Devin sort of gritting his teeth.
Lisa gives him a concerned look.
There's, of course, Watchman Alpha. He's mostly retired nowadays, but he still does hero work every now and then. Let's see. I usually don't keep that much of the list in my head, of course. You know, your head teacher is up there in the 20s. Top 20s.
Only top 20s?
Yeah, I was wondering where the fuck is Umbra? I control half a planet at any point in time. What the
Otrix
fuck?
created a world and his own universe.
Then there's, of
Well,
course...
no one knows that.
Then
No,
there's,
wait.
of course, Scorched Earth, the exact counterpart to Ice Lord. They don't get along very well, but Ice Lord doesn't get along very well with just about anybody. Then there's, of course, the Grand Locious, as they call him. He's, a strange hero, always keeps himself masked. So that's, of course, costing him points in the famous contest.
Aim contest?
Yes, if you don't show your face as the hero, how are people to see your glorious smile as you protect them?
Chaos smiles a bit, and he doesn't really have a pretty smile, like sort of fangs.
Chica McQuaddle sort of looks over to you with one eye, and then she mimics your smile to the T. Now, she has relatively normal teeth, but she manages to mimic your facial expression.
Stop worrying.
Yeah.
So,
Usually
have
my
you
power... Oh yes, go ahead.
have you ever felt that you failed as a hero?
Of course I have. Failing is human. Failing happens to the best of us. The real tough part is that it's never you against anyone else. It's always you against you in the end. If you say to yourself you failed, and you believe yourself, then, only then have you truly failed. There will always be a part of you that says, I failed this, I failed that. But it is true strength to keep going despite of that. To stand back up and say, don't fear, I am here. He stands with one leg on the table.
You might hear the subtle bang, bang, bang.
I think they're doing renovations downstairs.
Yeah, renovations. Umbra's fucking head against the wall. It probably will have a dent by now. He has a superhuman body, so it can't really harm her.
Now we come to a very interesting hero generation, the Bronze generation. This is where actually the first hero teams happen to end up forming. Now I've never really been one in a team. I've been in a couple of happenstances where other heroes are showing up together with me. But true teams stick together through thick and thin. They come to know each other, care for each other, and most of all, support each other with their powers. Unfortunately, it was at that time that we were in the thousands of the heroes. You see, gold generations, a dozen, 2 dozen, silver generation, a couple hundred, and then bronze generation, we're up to thousands of registered heroes. Now we're probably in the tens of thousands, smaller and bigger heroes. At least people with superpowers. That unfortunately had the downside that villains happened to arise more often with their own superpowers that were either misunderstood or were inherently found themselves to be having an easier time using their powers to get what they want quickly, instead of going the long and harder route. And just like the villains become more powerful and more countiful. That's the word, right kids? You say that these days.
No.
No, I don't think so. Let me check my dictionary.
Yes, check it in the dictionary. Meanwhile, as the villains became more counterful, they also teamed up together. So there were roaming teams of villains against teams of heroes. And it was also a time where masks first truly came into play as the villains started to attack not just the heroes, but their families and friends, whether they had hero powers or not. That is why it became very important for heroes to mask their identity. Because it only takes one villain that maybe you've never encountered, maybe you've never heard of him, to have a grudge against you and find a way to hurt you where it hurts.
So it's actually a bad thing for a hero to have loved ones?
It is never a bad thing to love someone.
Aww.
But someone who is truly deranged, someone who is truly evil, will aim for exactly what you love to destroy you.
Drives these people to perform such horrible evil.
No one is
can't
ever
understand.
born evil, Lily. Sometimes
That's
the difference
principle.
between a hero and a villain is just one bad choice away. One bad reason, even. And he trails his eyes across the room, and Chaos, you know he's not watching at you directly, but somehow you feel and fear his eyes lingering over towards you. You know what he's talking about, isn't he?
Yeah.
Hmm.
You're really worried.
Maybe.
But don't worry. Just as much as everyone has sometimes thoughts that are against the law or considered evil, as long as you catch yourself and with your friends, they always help with reining you back onto the right path. That's why teams are also important and why loved ones are important, Lily. Or at least persons
We
that
want
you
an
deeply
example
trust.
of restraint. Look at Umbra.
What if your loved ones are doing things that you think are bad for you, though?
That is a really tough question. Evaluate if they are... if you can help them back. And if you really can't help them back, perhaps seek more professional help.
Don't think anyone would agree with me over my parents, but sure.
Is that something you want to share? Perhaps I can help.
Don't think I don't think you're capable of changing things in the Novorous kingdom. So yeah,
An interesting kingdom. I've not heard of it. Is it in Africa?
no. It's far away.
Oh, so in the Pacific Ocean. I see.
Slightly further away. Ever so slightly further away.
Very well. Well, and after that bronze generation, there came your teacher's generation. We did really ponder about a new name. They were the modern generation at one point. If we had to come up with a name, we're still not quite sure on that. The Hero Association has its hands full after its headquarters got destroyed. But they fought an evil, as you've mentioned before, Buckshash. And what a fight it was! The entire
What
world
is
was...
Buckshash?
Imagine a being so dark that when it entered our Earth, it was dark for 3 whole days. Plenty of hero work back in that day for me.
Huh.
What was the nature of this creature?
I would say it was a giant glob monster, which makes it hard to punch.
Yes, well, imagine so.
But I can punch so hard that it even blows it like the wind. Hoo-ha! He gives like a 2 times punch, making some wind that blows some loose papers over.
I want to
That point
punch
that
him.
Jack quickly takes care of the papers, stacking them neatly back onto their desk. Clearly he has OCD tendencies.
Wonder who caused that.
Yeah.
Well, Buckshash was, from what I have heard, a being from a different dimension. Oh, it could just be magic.
Aren't there supposed to be guardians of the dimensions? Why would he such a creature be allowed to exist then?
Guardians of the Dimension, that sounds like some fairy tale story, to be fair.
Ah,
mean,
there are
that's
many
why
things beyond.
Dimensions?
Indeed, dimensions. But that's a whole other can of worms we don't open up in history. That's something for, well, I suppose... Ah yes, Miss Corvallis will explain to you. If you're willing to ask her.
Alright then.
You call her over then, so we can ask.
Yeah, you can ask her next class. I think she's having a class with you tomorrow. Physics.
Oh!
Physics.
Yay!
Yes, physics
My
and...
favorite subject!
No, wait, I read that wrong. It says PA, physical education. That's the one. Physical activity.
It's not the same.
Indeed, it is not. My mistake. He bows to you, Lily. I am sorry to have...
Aww.
But
I
there's...
think it is a very stupid idea to have someone like Umbra to teach physical education, in the sense of, like, depending as in PE.
That is a very stupid idea.
Yes.
Why is it a bad
At least
idea?
you'll get fit very, very fast.
Indeed, she's like drill sergeant
It
nasty.
doesn't bring results. You're
That-
gonna be fit or you're gonna be dead.
That is the point of
It's a great
putting her into
motivator.
charge of that. Because I know she's
Yeah.
gonna do a good job pushing you to the limit. To the point of no return. You're gonna feel it.
Oh no.
All the Rocky montage theme songs thrown in there as well, for good measure. Yes, Bakshash was a nasty fellow, but he came in here because he was called. Called by people who wanted power, called by people who wanted to use what he could offer them. Pure energy. He was perhaps a being of pure energy, come to think of it. But one energy that is far beyond our understanding.
Who called him? Are they still here? Or what happened to those who
They're
called
all
him?
behind the slammer now. He bashes a hand on the table and whooms.
You'll hear an answering thunk again of Umbra's head hitting the wall.
Oh my god, this is the perfect punishment for Umbra. Oh.
When the kids sue you after the PE class, now that's the perfect punishment for you.
Damn it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to physical class.
I love it how it's so natural for Umbra and Rachel, Umbra and Scarlet, to constantly kind of like get off of each other, and yet at the same time Jack and Keith, because if you think about it, it's the same players. They're like best bros forever. I love the contrast.
Yes.
And the fact that no matter which characters we play, you never can keep us straight.
There is a ringing of the doorbell, and Mr. Sunshine looks over and says, "Oh my, how the time has flown by."
Do we have time for one more question?
Absolutely. I like to go beyond.
Let's see what you did there. What is the biggest threat that have threatened the Earth then?
I would put it somewhere between Radio and Bakshash. Although, if we go by the classic, the Baroness is still considered by many the ultimate villain and the example of villainy. Unfortunately, she passed away a few months ago.
If she was the example of the worst, then why do you say unfortunately?
I say
Do you have
unfortunately
A
because...
picture of this person?
let me see. Do I have a picture of this person? Actually, I do not.
That's something that Jack would ask, because he wants to know who this Baroness is.
Oh, you know what? Perhaps I do have a picture of her. Haha, give me a moment. Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. I just need to upload it real quick. You know what, Jack? You're on your phone looking up the Baroness Thorimi in terms of images, and one image comes up rather quickly here. Let's see. That's what she looked like. Must be in her younger years.
What a beauty!
Yeah, surprisingly beautiful for a villain.
Can I roll logic?
Okay.
What logic?
I mean, just ask me what you want to know, or what you're logicking over.
I have a really bad feeling that it's the Baroness from his dream.
Okay. You know what? I can't answer that because that giving either yes or no would completely, ruin the tension for you, right?
That it actually.
Such a bitch.
I mean, that's the truth, isn't it?
It kind of is.
Get into this.
Put down here. But Mr. Sunshine sticks up. Always be vigilant, for it doesn't matter how dangerous a villain is. If he only threatens one life, that is enough to see him as the biggest threat you have to face right now. It's not always all or nothing. Sometimes it is as simple as improving a person's life. Sometimes a villain is actually a person in the greatest need of help.
Huh. Interesting. Very
And with
interesting.
that, I must bid you off. He waves to you, grabs his backpack onto his shoulders, and jumps out of the window.
This is probably one of the best classes ever.
I actually agree. Says
He's
Jack.
weird.
While Lisa kind of actually leans towards Devon and kind of almost hides behind him. Is like, I don't like this man.
It's interesting.
I love this school.
He's weird.
But come on, is Miss Hartfield really in the top 20 of heroes? She looks so weak. As Keith leans back and look up in the ceiling.
I think it would be so cool to see Heartfelt and Umbra to totally rip each other apart. See, I heard they're both super strong anyway. Like, think about how awesome it would be. Jack says with like an actual grin on it. While he
Is
moves
there a
towards Keith.
list somewhere that actually lists everyone?
Yeah, totally. Of course, I don't have that list completely made. I just know some of the more powerful heroes. And, it's sort of fan-made by, people who care or fan about superheroes. Kind of like you have, like, sports teams that you rank and such.
Oh god. Well, if it's fan-made, then it cannot be trusted at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But hey, it is a bit of a popularity contest, being a hero,
That explains why Umbra is not on.
Exactly. It's not about power, it's about
despite being
popularity.
super strong.
Who are the other big names with superheroes?
Well, let me type them out there. Of course, it's Ice Lord. Scorched Earth was mentioned. And
Shadow,
then is,
Umbra's mentor. He's quite popular.
yeah,
He is.
Top 50, I would say. Like, he's been around a lot longer, so that's why people love him.
especially in Halcyon City. Yeah.
Well, if it's a popularity test, then it's also weird that Ice Lord is number 2.
Different people see him different ways. It's a mix of power, popularity. It's mostly of how much they've done. Ice Lord apparently stopped radio, one of the greatest villains that ever lived in the past. So
That is true.
that gives him. It's mostly people who have never met him. Let's be honest.
That explains a lot.
Yes. It's like never meet your idol, right?
Yep. Interesting. Very interesting.
That's another hero from the top 10, the Locious.
Why do I have a really, like, I have this feeling that despite everything, like, that happens between, for example, Rachel and Umbra, like, deep inside, they're actually quite fond of each other, to be honest. Like, I think they just butt heads out of, because they just do that. Because they're used to doing it.
You know, they're like yin and yang. They can't survive without each other.
Yes.
It is one of those things that, you know, at the end of, like, sure, they butt heads constantly, but should one of them need each other, like, they would totally... Think about, like, Naruto and Sasuke from fucking Naruto. It's like...
Yeah.
secretly totally best friends. Like, I'm so sure of it. You know, there's been a couple of nights where Umbra just been like, I can't fucking sleep. I know she's up. Takes a bottle of scotch and just slaps it to the table. Drink with me, bitch.
And you know, waking up while she's sleeping. Well, again?
Yeah, they're actually best friends, even though they snap at each other.
Totally.
Probably because Rachel is one of the only one who actually can handle Umbra.
Yeah, I think that is an explanation.
Only?
Sure.
One only?
No. Striker
One-
has always handled Umbra a lot better than Rachel has. It's basically, you need to understand, Umbra totally just humors Rachel. The Righteous Ranger has a really good handle on Umbra as well. Funnily enough, Otrix and Umbra are really good friends, and
Yes.
Felix is basically a no-show. So actually, who has the best actual grip on Umbra is actually Striker.
Yes.
Why?
We cut.
Because they have the similar intelligence.
That's true. They're both intelligent. Now we cut over to a little bit later in the evening. The sun is setting. A huge red ball across the city skyline over the water, and the clouds have parted now, gone away, and we see on that similar on the skyscraper sitting, maybe even the same one, just from a different camera angle, sits Mr. Sunshine. Now he's just sort of looking at the sunset on his lonesome as the city just goes on beneath him. Now, who of them asked him a question about if he ever felt like he failed as a hero? Who was that?
That was Keith.
Keith, yeah. Keith, you're walking up from behind him and ask him that same question again, would you? Just humor me.
Alright. Have you ever felt that you have failed as a hero?
Well, Mr. Sunshine says, not turning around to look at you. To be truthful, I failed every so often, but there's always and only once where I feel like I couldn't have made it up. And I could never have made it up. And he looks at the sunset. I once had a close friend and made a bad decision because I wanted the best for that friend. And I tried to come clean, and in the process, lost a good friend forever. Now here's the thing, as he looks back, Keith just disappears. Just sort of like it was just in Mr. Sunshine's imagination. And he says, but how could I tell this to you kids? What would you do? Would you think of me any less? Would you start crying or just sit there in shock? Oh man, I don't know if I can teach kids that well. And then he just looks back forward. So I guess I handled that as best as I could. Whew. And with that, the sun sets behind and it turns to night and the session ends.
Aw,
Oh,
It was a good session.
it was.
it was.
It was different but good.
Yeah, I know it wasn't combat oriented. I know some people didn't get to roll much, but it was something about setting up a lot of stuff for the future about the world.
That's important.
Yeah, nothing that was said is really wasted. So, look forward to all of it. We are usually going around asking how you've grown. So let's do that. Heyoth, you little thief. It's kind of like Adventure of Zelda. Now everyone has to refer to Heyoth as thief because he stole something.
Yes.
Like Wind Waker. No, wait, what? Not Wind Waker. The Egg of Time, that one. Anyway, Heyoth, how have you grown?
Now that is a good question.
And who was that mysterious man that stopped you?
That is a very good question.
Oh yes,
I
yes
have
it
a
is.
feeling he said it. I have a feeling
I have-
he's the teacher.
I have a hunch.
I would not say he grew away from the team or closer. I don't think he grew into his own image either, actually. None of them fits really for this session.
Alright, if you want to choose none at the moment, then hey, you don't have to choose one. Since this wasn't very much a team interaction session, this was more of a class interaction session. That's fine. Keith, how have you grown?
Well, you know, he would have grown to his own image of himself if he didn't fail that damn question.
I mean, that was your choice to fail. Perhaps that
yeah,
is a way of
that-
growing into your own
That was-
image.
That was my own choice to fail because, you know,
Remember, Jack was there to comfort you.
exactly. That's why he go closer to the team. He go closer to Jack because you know, at his biggest failure, he has someone who wants to teach him.
That's cool,
You know?
yeah.
All of Keith's confidence is only, you know, an outside of him.
That is a dangerous powder keg. But something I am very much willing to play with.
But I have influence over Keith already.
Yes, you do.
So shift his
So-
labels. What do you think?
I am going to shift his. Mundane down and superior up.
Yeah. I'm not as mundane, but I'm more superior than you are.
With
Alright.
his teaching. Yeah, that's how
Yeah.
she thinks you are more, and that's how you can see yourself.
Yeah, you're less mundane. It's like she's like Jack thinks more of a case like, hey, you're not so mundane. You can fucking control fire, man. Feel superior about yourself, bro.
That is true.
Now, Jack, how have you grown in return?
Definitely close to the team because come on, Keith is my bro.
You're right.
Oh, and I got full potential.
So you can level up. Now,
Yes.
before you do that,
Oh yeah, whenever you get close to the team, don't you get the potential as well?
yes, when you grow,
Potential or clear condition.
yeah, potential
Issues.
clear condition.
Yeah, so it's yeah. Okay, so
No.
but Keith, you have again influence over me. So
So, since you are helping him, you are definitely severe up.
Indeed, you're saving your skin
Okay.
there.
You're gonna save him. And then you're danger or freak down. I'm not sure about. Danger or freak. Yeah,
Freak.
freak down.
Since he's scared of Umbro.
He's scared of him.
Who isn't scared of Umbra? Or Rachel isn't, but
Striker.
Umbra is the
Striker,
ultimate
Ultrix.
slender man.
Yes.
Striker
Very-
Orchis and
you know,
Rachel aren't scared of us.
everyone is scared of Umbra. They just don't know it yet.
Yes.
Striker would just look at it and go dunk on the head like, sit, behave.
but there's no need to do that because the most she would do is just batter her like, oh my god, what an interesting project. Tell me everything. Come on. Let me pick your brain.
Freya!
And that's pretty much like the only time when Umbra actually smiles.
Freya, how have you grown?
She has grown away from the team.
How so? Tell us why.
What she has learned from Mr. Sunshine's lecture today was if you're in a team, people don't remember your name. You are just in a team. And they might remember your powers or whether you were human or not, but they don't remember your name. You're not marked down in history, and that's her ultimate goal.
Right,
so
I see.
She doesn't want to be on a team.
I see where you're coming from with your way of being a hero. You want to be remembered and not part of something that is remembered. You want to be the remembrance. Okay, sure. Who do you take influence away from?
She will take influence away from Heos because he came to class late and he doesn't seem like he has potential. She sees that, but it looks like he's just not doing anything with it. So she's like, yeah, no.
Okay.
And Lily, our techno wizard.
Yeah. Well, she enjoyed this a lot, after all. But I also don't, because I want to take her close to the team. But the one person that I really grow close to might actually be Lisa.
Hey, give Lisa influence over you. Actually, you know what?
You can do that.
Yeah, I can actually note that in the character sheet. Thing is, your friends always have influence over you. Mark that down, that your friend is influence, and you have also influence over your friend. Because that seems reasonable.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. They're your friend.
Yeah. And technically when you share full, everyone has influence over me, but does that only affect my team or everyone?
Your team. Only your team.
Okay. Okay, then Lisa has influence over me.
But you can always give influence to more people if you like.
Okay, so for example, Lisa would immediately give influence over Devon, so that's it. Super easy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so...
I think thanks to Lisa I'm going to get clear and insecure then, because... Yeah.
It's nice.
Still helped with the hair thing, I still want it to grow back, but...
Hey, next week, it should be grown back.
Let's hope so.
Hey, Striker is not that incompetent.
Umbra doesn't want to deal with my family.
Striker is that incompetent. Totally.
Strike isn't incompetent.
Shh. Shh.
Alright, I hope you enjoyed the session then.
Yes,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
fun.
great.
I think
really
if
liked it. It was
Striker
epic.
shows up, he's probably gonna cause some mayhem.
Yeah,
Besides,
I'll still see how I can bring Strike into the mix.
also, we had Thunk.
We had what?
Oh,
Thunk.
What is funk?
Thunk. As in...
and who is that?
Oh, yeah, that's I'm writing. I figured. I figured.
Thunk.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah,
That truly is the perfect punishment.
I loved playing as Mr. Sunshine.
I love hating Mr. Sunshine.
Exactly, you either love him
love
for his
hating
awesomeness
Mr.
or hate him
Sunshine.
for his awesomeness.
I love him.
I hate him.
He's way too awesome.
I
Jack
just
likes
him
him,
because
though.
of his personality.
You know what's gonna eventually happen? Because Jack and Keith are so fucking PS in the pod anyway, is that we're gonna just like ignore everything else and just shift out each other's labels each fucking other turn.
That might end up happening.
Oh, they're bestest of best buddies, come on. They're
Absolutely.
like bros forever.
And now his best buddy is Devon.
Yeah. So next time on Best Buddy Can Change. You know, that's what school does. You make new friends.
Yes.
Next time, Halcyon Hero, physical education.
Oh God, no! I do not want to die.
Here's
Can
the
I use my
homework
bike?
for you. Here's the
No.
you cannot. This is physical,
Oh.
not mechanical.
Oh
That's right, princess. You gotta
But-
work for those hips.
no!
I imagine Lily coming back from Earth.
Your arse.
I just imagine Lily coming back from Earth, like her body just swabbling over each side of the bike because she hasn't done anything to move.
Indeed.
Oh God. Here's
She's turned American.
Exactly.
Yes.
Here's the thing for all of you to do. Think of a exercise that your character is gonna shine. And think of an exercise where your friend's character is gonna shine. So that everyone has to compete in everything, sure. But they have one thing where they can shine with their powers. Or
Oh, with the
Aptitude.
powers. Ooh.
you can
Yeah,
use
I
powers.
know
Yes.
what Rosa would be good at that.
Do
Oh,
remember
that's-
that there's going to be an exercise part without any powers involved.
Absolutely.
So that-
That'll be the
Oh.
warm-up, let's call it like
I'm
that.
just,
Because if I'm gonna teach it, I'm gonna teach it properly, you know?
you know, Devin's weakness is coming to show in the next term. He relies way too much on his powers.
Yeah, but think of creative ways of how that works, you know?
It's part of the lesson in a sense that you need to be able to actually use your powers in a creative way. And working as a team is also very important. You will have an obstacle course. I've already had this in my
Oh yeah,
head.
if you want to design something for them, Umbra, then go ahead and let me
Yes.
know during the week so I can properly
Yes.
set that up
You
with
know-
images.
Nothing that can kill them.
So the crocodile pit is out.
Yes.
Who says it's out? It's not gonna kill them. They're almost all of them are meta-human. Come on, a couple of crocodiles will fucking do jack shit.
I'm not even
No.
human.
Exactly.
No.
A couple of crocodiles, it won't do anything to them.
Allow me
We have
to
a
name a
fire
blast of
elemental,
missiles.
No
an
crocodiles.
air
no-
elemental,
No.
an
crocodiles,
ice
no
elemental,
design, no explosive. No
a
killing stuff.
ninja,
Simulated
a
rock slide.
ghost, a dog person, a person dog, and a girl with weird hair colors, apparently has her powers. Well, you know, stuff. Plus room, of course.
Being a bit scared of Umbra's class is of course part for the course.
Yes.
We're going to die. We're going to die.
Something like that, yeah.
Something similar.
It's great that you have a good attitude about this. That's exactly what we want to hear and see, and want you to feel as well. Well done. 10 points.
Sounds utterly safe.
Of course it's safe. Umbra is a fucking shadow herself, you know? If you're honestly true danger, she will swoop in. But outside of that, you know, it's like a couple of scrapes. Oh, broken bone, whatever.
She cut my hair!
Good luck breaking Hales.
Oh, everything can be broken.
Thanks,
at some
Ivan
point.
Drago.
Do you honestly want Umbra to try?
No.
Everything can be broken, believe me.
Yes. Try.
Hello.
No. Umbra.
No. I think honestly that Umbra might actually fall in love with Chaos because it's like crude. It's like, oh, finally.
Speaking of love, I still haven't figured out my crush.
Finally, a student who actually does their best, that actually shines in my class. It's like, oh.
Don't worry, Lily, I've got something planned.
Oh dear.
Or, you know, this... Let's say you gave me- You gave me a perfect idea today. I need to write this down.
Oh dear. So far, it was like, who would be most likely? Keith or Jack, Keith or Jack? I still haven't interacted with any of them properly enough, so I don't.
Oh, come on, you totally dig Keith. Everyone digs Keith.
If you know what I
no,
mean,
it's-
ladies.
Yes, if you know what I mean, ladies.
Right.
Oh.
Alright then. I'll wish you all a good night. I'm gonna have a free day tomorrow. Woohoo! National holiday.
SMI!
Alright.
Hey!
Me too.
It's Reformation
Also,
Day
Atem.
here.
Do you want to play some PUBG?
Yeah, just give me a toilet break and stuff. But I'll play the
Okay.
PUBG after this. See you around, and catch
Bye-bye.
you either Saturday or Sunday or
See you on
next Monday.
Sunday.
Bye bye.
And you have also Thursday. See ya.
See you when you see you.